So, in each session, I will break it down for you. Session 1, we start with story. From using alphabets, we let the students form a circle into the corridor. Given the space of La Capita South, we were able to create a speech out of the midnight, well, a creative speech using all the letters of the alphabet. In the first workshop, we also did a lot of games and fun activities up and down the deck, keep moving, man overboard, the general comment. So we did a lot of fun games and activities to have them settle and warm up in the space. There was another workshop in which we had vision on mission, and that is a creative workshop where they were told to bring items in the space. The students were creative and they bring pens, pencils, hats, handbands, bags, and from that they were in a nursery rhyme session in which I left them in the nursery rhyme session and I bring out my brother. When they ask them, say, where your brother? Your brother real bad, you know? I turn that session and I call it the rhyme and rubber, in which I came out and I present all the youths in the circle and I let each one of the youths come up with a story using the object, and each one had different objects, of course, as mentioned, pens, pencils, and so on, and that was another creative workshop. I gelled well with them. There was another creative workshop in which I did a lot of breathing exercises with the youths and a lot of tongue twisters, and they were getting a little challenge with the tongue twisters, and I find a way to break it down for them and try to let them do it in syllables, and I give them answers like what you think would make you do the tongue twisters better, because they work up with small ones like rubber, baby, buggy, bumpers, rubber, baby, buggy, bumpers, and it was a process in doing the workshops with the tongue twisters and so on. And that was also part of the warm-up process in getting them in line with the enunciation and so on. We did a lot of role plays in which I let them came out and they had to improvise and share a story. You know, just come out in the space and use topics. They were given topics to stories with. Some topics was like school, some topics was like life, and these topics they were given to create creative stories. They also did group working sessions, all about the teamwork, in which they were provided to go into groups and they were given numbers to do nursery rhymes to work on. They did a lot of character enunciation, character story building, and they also did the creative session in which they learned how to make the hats. So from boxes to that, they present, in which they cut out pieces of cardboard boxes to construct the rim part of the hat. We also let them work with Bristol boards to create the little framing for the hats and also cut out the circles of the hats. In terms of the costume, seeing that it was a little tight in space of time, we take measurements and work with the students in terms of constructing the capes and so on. Because doing the capes, we needed a seamstress. So, give thanks, Ms. Rhonda Jones and I, we pull ourselves together and we try working with the capes and doing some. In terms of like the whole process, it was a learning journey. because the students were able to play with their creativity, write stories. They were also given activities for homework, take-home tasks, in which they had essays to work on their stories. All were given these stories to work on. And yes, some would go to school and sometimes play the fool and then do the homework, but if they didn't come with the homework, they have to create a story on the spot and write it down in the class. So it was a process, as I say, and it's a process that I learned to trust. I always trust in the process and give thanks where thanks is due. They are here today to put on a show, and without further ado, I would now like to call the rubbers out so they would come in the in an ensemble where they present their Mother's Day tribute.